What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Guliato Bango Boyle. You're now tuned with Edition Podcast, and like they always say, like and subscribe so I look cool. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Guliato Bango Boyle. You're now tuned with Edition Podcast. It's episode number 3, and I got 2 very special guests in the building. I have Yusra, and I have Gilbert. These are very special guests because we're going to learn a lot about financial literacy today, and we'll also speak a little bit about what they got going on with their podcast called Eat and Talk. And to get it started, why don't you guys give us a little bit of your background, where you're from, where you're born, and all that, interesting jazz.
First of all, say your name again.
Guliato Bango Boyle.
Wow. See, you guys, I never knew him as that. That's new to me. That's interesting.
You have a nickname because I don't think a lot of people can pronounce that name.
They just
I like it. You gotta teach them.
Oboyo is just the easy
Guliato. Yeah. I like that. That's cool. But anyways, my name is Yusra. Thank you so much for having us on your podcast today, Edition Podcast. And this is my partner,
Gilbert.
And yeah, we have our own podcast called Eat and Talk Minnesota. So this is actually our first time we are guests on another podcast.
That's awesome.
And we have had 2 seasons of Eat and Talk. So this is the first time that we get to be on another podcast. But a little bit about me. I work for a financial institution. That's actually how me and Gilbert met.
Yeah, we can't say the name.
We won't mention the name.
Okay.
But I've been with them for 5 years. I'm a senior business specialist. I work with small businesses. But now, starting next week, I don't know by the time when you guys see this video, but on the 23rd, I'll be moving to wholesale.
Oh.
So
is that a promotion we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations. Awesome. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. And yeah, so I specialize with small businesses. That's a passion both Gilbert and I have. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why we love small businesses so much. Outside of that, outside of Eat and Talk and working for a financial institution, I also have a small business that Aboyo's mentioned a few times called African Beauty with my other 2 best friends, Sammy and Amal. Shout out to them.
Shout out to y'all.
And then I also teach financial literacy. So I partner with schools and I mainly talk about budgeting and saving and credit and general things like that. And that's kind of the main topic that we're here to talk about today.
I can't beat that resume, so I'll keep it short. Like Yusra said, we both work for a financial institute. I'm a relationship banker, and I do business advocate. I'm very passionate, like Yusra said, when it comes to business and financial situations and helping out other people start their own businesses or start a business account. That's something that I love doing. So if you guys need a business account, let me know. But outside of that, we have our own podcast, like she mentioned, Eat and Talk, and we are very special.
Man. Show them the shirt. Okay,
right
that was
good.
Yeah,
Eat and Talk.
So,
but we're excited to dig down in the topics and hear what you got questions for us and see how we can all help each other out.
Yeah, perfect. So just to get it started now, the first question I always have, because everyone talks about it, right?
Yeah.
What is financial literacy? What does that mean to you? When someone everyone's always talking about it, what does it mean?
Yeah, I guess the simple answer for that financial literacy is just, being educated about finance. And it's not just specifically finance. Being financially literate means just kind of knowing the basic knows and needs of money management is how I would kind of prioritize it. I don't know if you have a more simple answer than that.
I think you gave the right answer for that. I think people get it so confused because the word financial literacy, it's like a big term for everyone, but it's just about, knowing your money and how it works.
Yeah, that's the word actually, knowing your money. So when I go to schools, I think that's kind of the phrase that I use in my PowerPoint presentations is knowing your money. So that's what I would define financial literacy as.
Okay, quick, before we go on to the next question that I had, it's a funny story how I met Gilbert. I wanted to say this in the beginning. So this used to be this place called 1919 Broadway. We used to go there. I was there on a Friday night. He wasn't at the door at the time, right? So I go in, we have our fun or whatever. And then the next day I was like, hey, we had a really good time. There's multiple people that I brought with me, right? So there's 10 of us, 15 of us. We go back. Gilbert's at the door. I'm walking I was in here. I know this place. This place is awesome, right? Go to the door. It's Gilbert. I'm like, hey, here's 10, man. I got 20, 15 people with me. Here's $10. He's like, what? it's because it's 20 at the door. I'm like, bro, I got like 15 people with me. I'm bringing you money. He's like, you don't support black business? And should have seen the look on his face. Yo, this is hilarious. But just to let you know, I didn't get in for 10, so I had to pay the 20. So
that the highlight of that is, make sure you support your businesses.
All right, let's go back to the topic now. You guys mentioned a little bit about budgeting, right? How important is budgeting, and how does one go about budgeting, I guess, from your perspective? Then I'll give a little bit of mine, how I went through it.
Yeah, budgeting is super important. So one of the reasons that Gilbert and I really passionate about it is because I know when we were in high school, middle school, we didn't really know much about what budgeting was or saving was. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how important it was at all. My parents would tell me save and budget because me personally, I was working since I was 15 years old. So as soon as I turned 15, I got a job at the mall. Uh-huh. Yeah, I got a job at the mall. And then that's kind of how I learned how to budget because I realized I was going through my paychecks. It wasn't much. Mm-hmm. I probably got $250 a paycheck because I was going to school and everything. But it's super important because it helps you prioritize your life. It kind of tells you the difference between what wants and needs is. Mm-hmm. I know we always talk about, okay, there's wants and there's needs, but until you're actually in a situation, you're not really able to separate the two. Yeah. So that is kind of where I learned how to budget, and I learned why it was important. Mm-hmm.
For me, budgeting was important for me because, as Africans, you always have that one child or one son that everyone depends on to make sure that everyone is set. If the family needs help with money and all that stuff, you have to be the one to help out on all that stuff. So that's where budgeting came into mind. And then just working for a financial institute, I was able to see accounts of people that got money and people that don't got money. And, it kind of touched me a little bit to be like, you know what, I think we should start talking about budgeting. And, and I made that a passion of mine to make sure that with everyone that I sat down with, I'd always ask them the question, so how are you budgeting? Mm-hmm. Are you ready for tomorrow or not? Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, right? So as an individual, how early should one start budgeting and saving? And also, how does one go creating about it? Is it understanding how much your paycheck is and then paying off, what is important, or how does one create one?
As soon as you can. Mm-hmm. My siblings, when they were 7, 8, mm-hmm. I would start giving them, let's say they lost a tooth, I would, pretend to be the tooth fairy, give them $1 under their pillow, or give them a little allowance. And I started teaching them right then and there how to budget. So, they would ask me can we go to the gas station and buy candy right away? Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, okay, do you want candy today, or do you want that new PlayStation on your birthday? Yeah. And so they'd be like, I really want the PlayStation or, those new shoes. And I'm like, okay, so I would, be like, I don't have money. So you have money and you're getting money. Mm-hmm. Let's start budgeting for that. Let's see how you can save. And then they kind of started thinking. So I would say as early as you can. Mm-hmm. So whether it's, a child, or if you're a high schooler or a college student, the younger you are, the better. Mm-hmm. And I think the best way to start is if you do have an income, whether it's part-time, whether you're at home and you're collecting unemployment, whatever it is, start mm-hmm. budgeting as soon as you can.
Yeah, I agree with that too. It's it's never too late to start. That's what a lot of people get confused. Oh, they get scared. Oh, I didn't start young. But like she said, it's as soon as you can. If you have the funds, mm-hmm. start today. If you don't and you start work tomorrow, start budgeting tomorrow. But as soon as you can start, it's better for you.
Okay, gotcha. And what resources are there available, that you guys have been working, in the financial institution that someone can utilize to help them do this, Do you guys know of any resources that are out there people can use?
Yeah, in this day and age, apps. There's mm-hmm. so many digital apps. So, for example, if you do bank with a financial institution, whether it's a credit union or a bank, a lot of the times those banks or financial institutions will have a mobile app, mm-hmm. and those apps will help you select ways that you can budget, whether it's setting up alerts, whether it's saving, mm-hmm. Managing your finances. That's the number one thing. I used to use an app called Nerd, mm-hmm. and that was kind of my way of utilizing tools to help me manage my funds. So I would know where my money was going, if it was being used on entertainment expenses or food, mm-hmm. or actually bills and stuff. So there are actual apps that you can download that are completely free, mm-hmm. and you can just insert some basic information how much you make a month, how much your paychecks are, and it will help you calculate where your money is going, how much you're saving, how much money you're wasting, where your wants and needs are. So that's really cool. So I would definitely just look at those apps. I would utilize that. I don't know if you have other
the
things.
same thing is with the apps. Like she said, if you do bank with a financial institute, they always have apps that you can use. And there's always free apps. Just Google them. I wish I could give some names, but they're not paying us to say names. So let's leave it at that.
So I guess one thing I would add to that is when I first started actually putting a budget together, I think it was probably like 2 years ago, because I used to get every paycheck, I'll pay whatever, is needed, and then I'll just spend the rest. Like, I'm like, hey, I got it. Let's go, man. What do you want? Chipotle? I used to pay for everyone. To understanding a little bit about money, kind of like I learned through my experiences. I wrote down exactly what I paid for a month, whether I got some gym membership, my car note, car insurance, and rent, and things of that nature. Then I divided into a group. My first check I probably get on the 15th, the last one at the end of the month. So I knew exactly when this bill is coming, because a lot of my bills are automatically withdrawn, right? So I knew, like, okay, the first check, I know the gym and Netflix and this and that is getting taken out. So I need to have this much money in this account. And then on the last of the month, I know this is being taken out, and understand how much I make per check. The job that I worked, I get paid every 2 weeks, and then if I sell something, I get also a commission. Commission is just a bonus in my hands. It was just like, all right, you got a commission. Okay, that's awesome. I didn't recognize that. But the other ones, I just I wrote it down. Okay, this is how much it gets taken out this first check. The second check, this is how much I save. This month I'll put this in the saving, and then the rest, I also give myself room to have play money, because I like to go out and head to events and stuff. So that's what I did to help me out with that. It took me a while to do that, but if I would say know how much you make, and know how much your bills are and which ones you can take out. Some of them are not necessary. I used to have I don't know. It's just some random membership. Like, what? Did I have that? What do I need that? And so I just had to cancel out. Maybe like PlayStation Online or Xbox. I don't play video games like that, but they were still taking money away from me. Know exactly what's being taken out each month and things like that.
Yeah, and I want to touch based on that too. It's like the same thing as Yusra said. It's sometimes it comes down in between want and need. And one thing that, working for a financial institute, I've realized that sometimes you have to go back to the old ways of writing things down, just like you did.
Yeah.
You get paid twice a month. Sometimes the first paycheck can pay all your bills, and then the second paycheck, then you can budget with that second paycheck. But always remember that sometimes writing down your bills and all that stuff and know exactly what is being taken out is better than just like doing automatically payments and all that stuff. So
yeah,
so
and also another thing based off of that is, if you do work for a company, ask them if they offer direct deposit. That is a very important tool. And I know that everyone would probably be like, well, who doesn't offer direct deposit?
Yeah. It's like, what?
You would be surprised, especially when you're working for a small business and a small Black business. A lot of small Black businesses, that's who we want our youth to work for, and that's what we're hiring. A lot of these Black businesses don't have direct deposit. Tell them, talk to the owner and be like, hey, there are services out there that will help you pay your employees directly, and it's going to be easier for your employees to be financially successful. They won't feel less stressed about managing their funds. So direct deposit is an easy way to budget, because then people will know, okay, this is exactly how much is coming in. It comes in at an exact date and amount, other than have to go check, cash their check. Bank is closed at certain hours, then they have to do half the check one day, half another, but then when they cash half the check, they already used some, and then they're like, oh, I forgot what I used. It's just a lot of mismanagement. So direct deposit is like a very key thing.
Okay. Other question that this one came from Danette, so shout out to you, Danette. They're like, how many months of expenses should one set aside for like an emergency? Because everyone's always like, set around this much for emergency, months wise, like knowing how much your bills are, how many months out. Do you guys know?
I feel like it's different for everyone, but the most important thing is set aside money for emergency savings, for sure. It really depends on everyone's circumstance. Everyone has a different income, comes from a different household.
Yep.
I think it's always safe to, set aside at least 30% of what you make. That can be, trying to set aside $500 to $1,000 a month is a lot of money. And for some, that sounds like a less, but for a lot of people that's really not
So,
much, and it's
yeah.
very doable because if you think about it, we spend $500 a month on a lot of useless, wasteless things.
Yeah.
So emergency savings could be for anything, like it could be for natural disaster, but then it can also be for one day you wake up and you decide you need to buy a house, and you've got $1,000 you were saving every month for the last 9-10 months, and you right then and there you have down payment to put down. So it's really per person. I can't really be like, oh, 100,000 is a good
What?
Yeah, it does.
So-
It does depend on the individual, different household, and the type of job that you work to. It depends, but something that works for me is I actually have several bank accounts that I don't know about. Well, I do know that I have the accounts,
I was
but
like, what?
Okay,
Go in
Gilbert.
there.
well, I do know that I have the
We gotta
bank
see.
accounts, but
Yeah.
it's just like try to at least open a bank account that that is far away. There's one bank account that I have that is in Fargo.
Yeah.
You'll never see me drive
It's
up
in
to Fargo.
Fargo,
Yeah, that's
cash
one
out.
thing. Another thing is like, I know like a couple of like my friends, what they do is they have a savings account,
Yeah.
and they will come and be like, okay, I don't want to see it on my online banking. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to have any authorization unless I have to go to the bank.
yeah.
And then there's really no way you can go to the bank during, bank operating hours because they're working or busy or they're lazy.
Yeah.
So just do not have access to, your online banking account, So that's been very helpful for some of like my friends that I know, because unless it's an emergency, they need to come to the branch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll just transfer every day.
That's what I was doing. Yo, I was like, I needed to go open up another bank account because I was using one bank. I was like, put it all in savings. I was like,
Yeah, just
ain't nobody gonna see
transfer.
this. So I had to go to a different account that I was just like, you know what, this is gonna be my investing money, or this is gonna be my savings. Like, I'm not touching it unless I'm doing that particular area or an emergency came. So I think someone said like 6 months you should save up like of all your expenses.
That's ideal.
I think that's what they said. That was ideal. So
good,
6
yeah.
months was good. Another one. Oh, now we can go to credit cards. Those are like the big scary monster every time I talk
everyone
about.
gets in trouble with those.
Yeah, my first credit card. There's a song out there by it was Ray Shremmerd, and one of my buddies used to use the line. Shout out to Billy. He used to go, "I don't check the price. All I do is swipe." And yo, don't listen to that at all. I was doing that for and I got in trouble. So if you got a credit card, know how you, what you're doing with that. But how should one utilize a credit card? And tell us about a credit card.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
always tell people, if you have a credit card, try to use only 30% of it. Just try to use 30% of it. And I always tell them that we all have emergency and stuff like that. Sometimes you might go over the 30%, but have in the back of your mind that only 30% of that credit card you should use. Only 30% of your credit limit. That's always that advice I give people that have credit cards, because if you go over 30%, now you're stuck when it comes time for the payments to be due. And people, some people, like the song said, you don't check the price.
Yeah.
You have the credit limit for the car.
Yeah.
I mean, I have two advice. I definitely agree with Gilbert said. I don't even say 30. I say 10% just to be safe, honestly.
10%.
And it depends on like your credit limit, but 10% because when you hit lower, you are more likely to go over. So if you say 10%, most likely you're using 20, 30,
True.
So it's kind of like a mechanism to use, like a mind game. That's like important, is just kind of trying to use as less as you can to make a payment. So one way you could do that is, for example, if you have a phone bill or a car payment, just automatically setting it up to that, But my biggest thing is don't be afraid of credit cards. And it's so important.
Yes, don't be afraid.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Yeah.
like, especially, I don't know about like with you guys, but like, with us, like East African parents, I remember for the longest, like my parents were like, stay away from credit cards. Don't open it. Like we'd get it in the mail. Like, Yusra, you got pre-approved. Like, they throw it in the trash. Don't even look at it. And I'd be like, what? But like working in a financial institution, like actually educated me a lot about the importance of having a credit card, because I'm like, okay, why are we so behind on things? Like, why is, my community the third lowest in home ownership in Minnesota? We've lived here forever. How come we don't have like all these cars, and how come? It's because we don't have credit, and we need to and the reason we don't is because a lot of people are scared of it, because they open a credit card in college because, for example, let's say if you went to the University of Minnesota, they give you free TCF credit cards or whatever, and you blow all that and never pay it back, and you just never look back. First of all, there's things that that can help you with that. That can. There's things called settlements where you don't have to pay back the full amount. You know, the institution, the third party debt collector will settle with you. You pay back some of it, and then you start reestablishing your credit. Get a secured credit card. Secured credit card is your own money that you're putting down, but it's still utilized as a credit card.
Okay.
So you will take your own $500 cash and you'll utilize the credit card. You'll make payments on it and you're building your credit, but you're more self-cautious because it's the cash that you put down. You've made an investment in it.
Okay.
So when you make an investment in it, you're just a little bit more cautious. So that is my biggest thing, is don't be afraid of credit cards. You need it, honestly, in this day and age and in this country, if you want to go far and you want to have bigger things for yourself.
Okay. I guess I'll go back to this question. I got one. Someone, again, I think this one came from Danette too. Does carrying a balance on your credit card help you like build your credit, you know? Like, you know, some people go like, okay, I got 2 tricks that someone taught me. They were like, if you have a credit balance and you have to pay at the end of the month, if you pay if you pay half, let's say it's due on the 15th, right? If you pay half one on the 7th and the other half on the 12th, you know, it's the full amount, but you pay 2 times in the month, it like helps you. It looks like you made 2 payments or something like that. Some crazy. Is that true? Is that a myth? Do you know anything about that?
I mean, as long as, from what I know, as long as you make the full payment by the end of the month, it doesn't matter if you've made in 4 increments or 2 increments. As long as the full balance is paid by the end of the month, that's what's gonna help your credit. Now, it can be more useful that you pay more than once, because there's something called credit history report, and it's going to show the more better payments that you have that are on time, the better it is for your credit score. It's not going to be a huge detrimental increase, but it does impact your credit score positively.
Okay. And then
I don't know if you have something different.
I think that's it. But to answer your question, carrying balances does not help your credit at all.
Okay.
It backs you. You just set yourself back.
Yeah, you don't want to
you don't want to carry the balance.
Absolutely,
you don't.
So how important is one's credit score then? You know what I mean? Do you guys know?
We live in a country that credit score is very important. It's very important. It's very important in our community too, and I feel like we really do need to educate ourselves more on that credit score. It's working for a financial institute. Trust me, you see people that come in and they've started, but it's not there yet. And then you see people that, have a high credit score and, they apply for something and you get a reply right away.
I've met some college kids who have been approved for homes and cars and all those things. And I'm like, you're only 19. And come to find out, their parents put them as authorized users when they were babies, and we're building their credits for them. So by the time that they became a young adult, they can buy a home, before 20. And that's something our community lacks, is that education. Like I said, it's the fear once again. And that's something, I don't know if it's a media thing or myths, like you said, that grows on us, but it's super important to have credit, very important.
So, based off of what you said, some parents put their kids on, as an authorized user. From something that I read somewhere, I think that could be a double-edged sword, because if you're bad at managing credit and you mess up, you're screwing up your kid too,
absolutely.
right? So it's you gotta be careful who you authorize
if you come from a toxic household and they're using you, and by the time you're 18 and you're in 90,000 debt, that's a problem. But it depends. But I'm talking about our generation, what we can do for our kids.
Okay.
But as soon as you turn 18, start building your credit. And like I always say too, it's never too late to start rebuilding it. As long as you have it, as soon as you're 18, start building it. If you're past 18 and you know that it's bad, don't just sit back and just watch it go down the drain. It's never too late to rebuild again.
How do you go about rebuilding it, I would say, on that? Is there ways? Because I've been seeing a lot of things on YouTube yo, come pay my company $200. We're going to get your credit back up to 6 million points and you're going to be good to go. What's the best way to go about rebuilding?
The best way, I always tell everyone, there's this, it's called my annual free credit report. Once a year, you can get it for free. And you get...
And right now, during COVID, you can just get it for free anytime. Yeah.
So it's like the 3 credit bureaus, and then they send you everything that is reporting on your credit, even with the numbers that you need to call to dispute all that stuff. Like the YouTube stuff, I don't believe in it because sometimes you can do all that stuff yourself. It's just that some people don't take the time to actually sit down. But once a year, I always advise people once a year, just fill that form out, see what your credit is looking like. Some people sit back and like, oh, my credit is good. But nah, your credit is not good. When was the last time you checked your credit score? But, you know, at the same time, to download the other apps like Credit Karma, there's other like credit card companies that do
and
show.
your bank also, it will give you like,
FICO.
Our bank, it gives you like the general FICO score and stuff like that. But what was your question again?
I was gonna say how to help
rebuilding.
build.
Yeah. I'll tell you from my own personal experience. I won't get too much into detail, but I messed up my credit so much that I gave up. Where I was like, "There's no point of ever focusing on this." Like I was like, you know, it wasn't all my fault. You know, there was some like little family things or whatever where I was just like, "Mom, you want a car? Go ahead." Like it was just at this point, like I didn't care, you know. And then all of a sudden, just like one day, I was like, okay, let me just start like making little payments. That's the whole settlement I was telling you about. I contacted these debt collectors and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna pay you $8,000. I got $800 for you. And you know, so
whoa.
Like,
what? How did that? Hold up.
That's just an example. But that's an example. That's not really how it went, but example, you know? But and you'd be surprised, a lot of them will accept that. Like they'll be like, okay, you know, and so that's like one thing. And number two, like I don't like giving names, but I'll just say it, like Capital One, it just throws money out there and take advantage of it.
I'm about to go.
Take advantage of it, because I know a lot of people who had like 300, 400 credit scores, and Capital One, you know, gave them a chance, like $300, and now you want to be responsible now and like utilize it the way you're supposed to be educated to utilize it. And then secured credit cards is a great way to rebuild it. Secured credit cards, you put your own money down. Once again, like I said, it's investing, you know, so there are ways to rebuild it. And exactly what Gilbert said, like some of those, you know, credit bureaus are, or what are they called? Whatever, you know, they're, you know, they're helpful. Some of them are very helpful, and you know, it's just about they actually do the work for you. Yeah. But you can you could actually so my dad taught me, like he disputed everything for me. He was like, you just dispute it, and there's people that will work on it on the back end for you, and like you're all good. So rebuilding your credit is not hard at all. You can be 50 years old with 20 years of bad credit, and you could rebuild it.
And then another tip on that too is like, if you're doing the settlement, just make sure that you have them put in writing that you paid the full balance. Like if it was $8,000 and you settled for less than $8,000, make sure they put in writing that you paid in full.
The full balance.
You didn't settle for nothing. So
you're working somewhere.
Just make sure everything in writing. Just make sure it's in writing that you paid in full.
Everything in writing. Remember that. Yeah. Write that down. And then this other one, like let's say I have like 3 debts, right? One's like, I'm just throwing up numbers, 20,000. Next one is 12. This one is 3,000. Which one should we pay off first? You know, should you pay off your largest debt first, or should we start from the bottom?
The newest. So it's not about the amount. Yeah. So it's from oldest to latest. Pay off the latest first. It doesn't matter the amount.
Okay.
Snowball. I think that's the term. Yeah. Like if you're rolling a snowball.
Yeah. And it gets bigger. Bigger. And then also remember, a lot of things fall off your report in 7 years. Some of them couldn't even be as small as 5 years. But you want to honestly pay off your latest debt that you have, and then work your way up.
Okay. And then this one, saving versus investing. How does one go about that right there?
Yeah. So honestly, I was thinking about that question, and it's 2 totally different benefits to each. It's not, if you ask me saving and checkings, I'd be like, okay, but saving and investing are completely 2 different ballparks. When you're saving, you're putting money away. When you're investing, it's money that you are willing to risk, and that money can grow in return.
Yeah.
With savings, I mean, depending on the savings account, like, you might get a little interest here and there, it'll grow, but like with investments,
0.00001.
but like with investing, that money is money that you are, putting aside, that you are expecting a larger return, and it's going to come down during the years. Saving is money that you keep putting aside, and it's important. Once again, like, it can be for emergency, it can be for down payment for a house or something like that, but it's just as important to put down. I don't know if you have a better answer.
I would say the same thing too. It all depends on the risk that you want to take. Like she said, having a savings account is it's money that that you're gonna save, and if you need it right away, you can get it. Investing money is like you're thinking long term. Okay. Because if you need that money today, trust me, you're not gonna get it today. But if you have so it all depends on what you want to do. Do you want to invest long term, or you just want to invest short term and just have the money in the savings account?
And then this question is funny. Someone's like, yo, they work for Financial Institute, right? What's up with the PPP loans? What's going on, man? Y'all got some more in the cut? Who's going to jail? Like, is people still going to jail? What's the word on the streets? Talk to us. Need that.
That PP loan I know my financial institute is not offering it, so it's out. They're out of money.
For now. They're out of money.
Yeah.
You will go to jail. I will tell you that. If you are not utilizing that money the way you said you were, and you collecting unemployment, and you claimed you had 9 employees at your
she said you will
at
go to
your
jail.
Apple shoe store. No, like, it's just it's not gonna work. But there are resources, and if you are if it's something you really want to inquire about how to make sure that you pay that PPP loan, or that it's forgiven for you, you can contact us, and there's resources.
Yeah, I'll have their information down there somewhere, and you guys can just hit them up, their IG or something. Okay, cool. I think that's good for financial literacy for now. I will have another one on investing. I think that's one that a lot of other people want to touch on. Now we're going to switch a little bit of the topics, go into exactly what they do on the side of the podcast that they have called Eat and Talk. Let's get it started. Eat and Talk. How did you guys come up with Eat and Talk, and why did you come up with Eat and Talk?
So we work together. We used to sit right next to each other, and we both would just sit there and just be like, what can we do that would impact our community positively? And we came up with many ideas. I think one was like a radio show, all those
I
things.
I had too many ideas.
And we were just really like brainstorming. And then the pandemic hits. The unfortunate events like with George Floyd happened, and we were like, okay, well, I guess prior to the pandemic, we had an idea that was still Eat and Talk, but it was solely more focused on restaurants, where we'd go out to restaurants and give them like a platform and try new foods and interview people there. But then the pandemic hit, and all the restaurants shut down.
Couldn't go out of business.
Couldn't go out. So we're like, okay, we're not going to give up. We still want, to shed some positive light in our community, and we wanted to focus on artists, influencers, chefs, small business owners, different people in our community, minority community, in different career fields. So that's how we started Eat and Talk. We still implement some sort of food, and we talk, and we give them a platform to really just share their story. And we're focused on smaller brands. I mean, we love to, of course, like talk to people who have a large platform too, but we want to give the smaller platforms a chance to like share their story and talk about, because, and a lot of people, like, we started interviewing in the beginning, now they're doing like huge things, like they've opened their own things, and their clients have grown, and they've created more work, and it's just beautiful to see. So that's kind of where, I don't know if you want
I think you covered it all. It was just when we had the idea, it was just I felt like Minnesota needed that platform to just shine some light. Before COVID, it was more because Yusra and I like food. So it was more like visiting restaurants and like eating them and trying the food and bringing them the market and the advertisement and all that stuff. But then COVID happened, so we just decided, let's just change it, switch it up. Have a platform that people can come and shine some light, inspire other people. For me, like I I feel like we all can inspire each other. We all learn from each other. So, having that platform was just an amazing thing. And like Yusra said, we've had a couple of interviews with people that clientele have gotten bigger. Seeing them now, it's like they're doing bigger things. And, the podcast just keeps on growing and growing, and it's fun.
That's awesome, man. Also, now this one's for you guys. How do you balance? Actually, you guys are the only ones here. How do you guys balance working, the 9-to-5 corporate world, and then also doing, your business on the side and the podcast? Like, how do you guys go about that?
For me, I usually say money doesn't sleep. But I feel like when you're passionate about something, your 9-to-5 is just to invest in what you're passionate about. Yeah. Because in the back of your head, I'm like doing this, I'm having fun with this, but hey, when I get home, I got my inner talk. Let me just finish this 9-to-5 and then go home and do my thing. But I just think it's like, if you're passionate about something, your 9-to-5 is there. Not saying that, you shouldn't be happy about your 9-to-5. Yeah. Respect your 9-to-5.
Hey, nah, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. I mean, I care a lot about Eat and Talk, and I care a lot about like doing community work and advocacy and community rebuilding. And so it's what keeps me excited, keeps me going. We've, I think, mended friendships through our platform, people that we didn't know before, but now when we see them, it's all love. And so the way that I balance it is just keeping that positive, utilizing your positive mental skills. Like, hey, I'm working, but I have to make time for what I love. So anytime that you love to do something, you will make time for it. It doesn't matter. And I mean, don't get in trouble for this, but like, I'll put Eat and Talk before my 9-to-5. Like, if I gotta do something, make it work, like I'll make it work, because that's what I care about more.
Yeah. And sometimes you can even implement your side hustle with your 9-to-5. It's just the passion that you have. I've had people that that I've sat down with, they've shared their ideas with me, and I'm like, I got my own podcast. I said, let me encourage you, let me inspire you to do something more too. So
Absolutely.
It's always finding the balance, but.
How do you guys find people for your podcast?
Wow, that is.
In the beginning, we would reach out to people. Like, we'd see like look at different Instagrams of like, oh, Gilbert, what do you think of this person? Now,
I used to send her like a lot of screenshots.
Yeah.
Of, like people's. I'm like, what do you think about this person? Should we reach out?
Exactly.
But
and
now,
so now it's
now y'all hot, huh? It's coming in. People trying to hey, let me hop in there, man.
Exactly.
A lot of people, are finding more about us, and so people will reach out and like email, which is cool. It's amazing. Like last season, we landed a gig with Mall of America, so that was really cool.
Okay, look at y'all.
And so we've got like other good ideas for this season, but yeah. And then I think it's just kind of like we think about, okay, what do we want to focus on? Let's focus on nutrition and health. Let's find someone who's into that. Let's find someone who's into art or music or food or whatever, and that's kind of how we go about it. And
and sometimes people, they reach out to us and they want to be on it too. But like I said, the platform is for everybody. It's for everyone. If you don't see yourself this season, you see it.
And we are trying to get everyone in.
We're trying to get everyone.
We are a little overwhelmed right now, but we hear you, we see you, and we'll be getting back in contact with you guys soon.
Okay, since you guys are starting season number 2, what do you guys got in store? 3?
Yeah.
You said 2. I'm sorry. Season number 3. You finished 2. Okay. Season number 3. What are we expecting for season 3? I guess that plus maybe not 5 to 10 years. That's like a long down. Let's say what the next coming years. What do you guys have planned?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to tell me too. It could be a secret that's big. But what do you guys got in store?
I feel like the next season is, I really want to focus on our barbers because they're doing a lot for our community and all that stuff. So I want to focus on them as well too, and then like just implementing more restaurants, like seeing the restaurants that have come back after the pandemic, and highlighting those people, and then guess more entrepreneurs, like people that started their own business, because working for a financial institute, I noticed that during the pandemic, a lot of people were opening their own businesses, starting their own businesses. That
PPP, that was good ready, boy. That was good ready.
Yeah, definitely. I also want this season kind of for our community to learn a little bit more about Gilbert and I. So we're probably going to do like more solo episodes, do fun episodes where we talk about certain topics. And yeah, I want to do that. But definitely food is a big thing that's on the list. I want to showcase, a lot of people are requesting for, I want to showcase a lot of food in my community, Somali food. African food in general. We're going to go restaurant shopping, hunting, pop-ups, whatever. So.
Oh, shout out to OD, by the way. You got me in earlier, so I told you I was gonna shout you out. It should have been in the beginning, but shout out to you. Y'all see the cut, man. Go to Aquay Sports.
Yeah, shout out to OD too. He has his own podcast going on, so shout out to him as well. And everyone that has started a podcast. Shout out to everyone.
I know you guys got a couple of interesting things coming up here in the near future, events wise. You guys want to speak a little bit more on that? I don't know if this episode will come out before it. If it does, so they know. What do you guys got in store here?
Our next one coming up for sure, August 19. We are partnering with a lovely young woman named Sydney, who has a nonprofit called That's Their Dream, and she does sip and tip events, and it's really exciting where she incorporates games with trivia questions about certain topics. So we'll be hosting the financial literacy trivia. So we're super excited about that. It'll be at what was it called again?
Punch Bowl Social.
Look
at that. Hey, look, I'm ready. He's ready. I'm gonna be there.
Punch Bowl Social in St. Louis Park. So yeah, we will post, on our pages. We have it posted already. So check it out if this video drops before then, and then September
5th, we're gonna try to do a back to school drive for the kids. Yusra and I are very big on the community giving back and all that stuff. So we're gonna partner up. Shout out to DJ Crew and a couple of other names that we're gonna mention in flyers and stuff like that. But we're gonna partner up and try to do a back to school drive. So, like you said, maybe this might drop before that. If it drops after, hopefully we'll see you guys.
Oh, it's gonna drop before the school one for sure. 19 one. We'll see how quick my boy can edit. He's good what he does. Shout out to Chris.
So hopefully we'll see all you guys there for the back to school drive for the kids.
So that's all the questions that I have for now. I don't know if anything else you guys want to include, but just to summarize, if you had to give 3 advice to like younger kids or the next generation coming up, even our generation now too, everyone can learn from this. Let's go this one will be on the financial literacy side. What steps should people take, or what advice do you have to give to them? Like just 3, just top of your head.
When it comes to financial,
don't be afraid. Know your money and don't be afraid. That's my biggest thing. There's so many resources out there. And don't be afraid to ask. Go to your local banks, even if you don't bank there, and you would be surprised. You can sit down with someone and just have a free consultation. Be like, hey, I don't have anything. What benefits is it of opening an account or something like that?
Okay.
And when I say account, I mean like prioritizing like saving and budgeting and those type of things. But just don't be afraid is the biggest advice I have, and start saving. Another advice that I would say for sure is it's okay to have multiple sources of income.
Facts.
So you can work a 9 to 5, you can work at Target or McDonald's,
drive Lyft, Uber.
Yeah, and then you can drive a Lyft, Uber, do security for your, somewhere on the weekends, or start your own business, like, sell. It could be sell shoes. You sell like anything. You'd be surprised. You'd make so much more income on your side hustles than your 9 to 5, and that's what's really going to help you invest, budget, and save. So
I would say the same thing too. It's like it's never too late. Just know your money when it comes to the financial aspect of things, and just budget. Try to save. Try to educate yourself. I would say try to educate yourself.
Yeah. And then, a lot of people just living in your hometown, you feel like you might not get a lot of support, but don't let that hold you back. You'll always get support, whether it's from your hometown or you'll be surprised someone from somewhere else is going to find you. And, your life can shift and change at any point in given time. There's this like reel or TikTok that I always post from Beyonce.
Oh, God.
And she always says like, hey, there was, I can't remember the exact amount, but, she said, yeah, I have a lot of Grammys, but I lost so much. Like, I lost maybe, 30 Grammys or whatever. So there's always going to be losses.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of financial gain and wins in your future. So just don't let anything hold you back.
You watch a lot of Beyonce.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I'm a bee, so.
She's a beehive. My advice to you young cats is, I'm not no financial advisor, but eat at home. Like I spend probably like, this a while back, $20 a day, thinking like $5 here, that's just $5 over here. It just comes at $20 you just spend a day on food. In 5 days, that's $100. You do that every week, you're at $400 you're spending on just going out to eat, right? And all you cool guys too that be out in the the clubs area, something, split yo tables, man. Stop waiting on one guy to do it. If it's $500, there's 5 years, $100, right? So I would do that, split things, and work on, if you're working on investing and doing other things, group economics. Like if me and Yusra and Gilbert have the same mindset, they want to do the same thing, instead of her just, okay, I'm gonna save up just to do this myself. You guys team up together, you guys could legitimately get to your goal so much faster. But make sure that the one thing they always say is if whatever you're doing is not transparent and they don't have no progress report, transparency, financial report to where this money is going to, I won't donate to it or I won't do it. But if they do that, they offer transparency to what they're doing, give you progress report, and tell you how much money has been given here and there. Hey, go do that, man.
That's
what I got. Hey, group economics is gonna get you a lot.
That's a good one.
So,
absolutely.
Gang. I was gonna ask you a fun question, but I forgot it now. So,
forgetful.
I'm so sorry.
I like that though. I like that you said eat at home. It's so true when your mama says like we got food at home, and I know you might be tired of your mom's cooking, but learn how to cook too. It's not that hard.
YouTube, baby.
YouTube.
That's how I learned how to cook. Girls think I'm a good cook. Like, I just pop up the YouTube and watch exactly what it does.
Get an iPad and prop it right there.
Yeah.
Take notes and.
Yeah.
Got something to
That's
eat.
what I got. Thank you guys for watching this episode 3. Shout out to Yusra and Gilbert for coming in, man. Hopefully you guys learned something, take away. I will have their information on the bottom here, so if you want to reach out to them for more information, they'll be able to do that. Make sure to look out for their podcast. They got Eat and Talk and 2 of the events that are coming up. I'll try to put the poster or flyer
So when
somewhere.
do we reach out to your manager to have you on our podcast too? Or
hey man, just reach out to me. I'm always there. So I'm always there.
Boyle definitely is going to be on Eat and Talk, so definitely keep an eye out on for him.
I appreciate you guys and your time. So you guys have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks.